Okay, so welcome. So this is the Camp Frontier kickoff for the 2022 summer camping season. We're really excited to have you guys out here on Zoom tonight, and we're excited to talk summer camp stuff. I do want to go over some basics on the webinar just so everyone's on the same page. So this is a webinar. It's very similar to a Zoom meeting, but it's a little bit different. If you're an attendee tonight, you can probably see our faces, you can see our screens and our presentation tonight, but we can't see yours. So you don't have a button for your video, you don't have a button for audio. That keeps things nice and quiet so that way we can have a nice presentation, but that doesn't mean you don't get to answer questions and ask questions tonight. So we do have a way for you to ask us questions, and that's through that Q&A box that's on your toolbar, probably at the bottom of your screen. So if you click on that, you can type in questions there, and we're going to be monitoring that box tonight. I'm going to be monitoring it mostly for the most part. So if we don't get to your question right away, don't worry, hold tight. We're going to wait and go through this at the very end as well and look at any questions that are unanswered, and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered, and we'll stick around as long as we need to get every question answered tonight in that Q&A box. So feel free at any time if you have questions to start typing those ones in, and you can get them compiled up. And then as I get time tonight while others are presenting, I'm going to review the box and I'll go through and either answer those live for you, or we'll get those typed in the box so you can see the answers to those questions. If you notice on the front screen, when we had that up before we started tonight, there was a QR code on the screen that you can scan with the camera on your cell phone or other smart device. We'll have a lot of QR codes in the presentation tonight. Not necessary for you to have a smart device tonight to participate, but if you have one and you want to scan those, have it handy, and you can scan those and look at some of the online things on our website that we would be talking about on the screen. So it's a great opportunity for you to take a look at that and get that taken care of as well, and maybe get a view. So other than that, that's the webinar basics tonight. We're going to keep going. And the first thing I want to do is talk a little bit about some of the people who are joining us on the panel tonight. So I'm just going to go down the list real quick and read this off for you. But my name's Steve Porter. Served as camp director at Camp Frontier for quite a while, and I'm actually coming into a new role here at summer camp as the program support director. We also have a brand new staff member, Thierry Shores, with us tonight, Chuck Walker, who's our director of support services for the council. Chuck's been with us for a couple of months now and is also going to play a pretty large supervisory role in our summer camp operations. So he's going to be on tonight, and you'll get to hear from him. We have a returning program director, Anna von Fonestock, who will be with us tonight. Also have two returning staff coming back. One is camp commissioner again, Jeff Smarkle, and then Beth Youngpeter will be coming back as our other camp commissioner this year. So she'll be changing over from that. She was serving as a program commissioner for many years for us and is excited for this new position. So she's on here as well. And then coming in is two brand new program commissioners for us this year, but not brand new to summer camp staff, are Matthew Fife and Nicole. And I shouldn't have said brand new. My apologies, Matthew. He was there last year. But Nicole is coming in brand new. So between the two of them, they're going to serve as our program commissioners this summer. Also joining us on the call tonight is Ed Caldwell, our Scout Executive. And actually, at this point in time, I wanted to hand it over to Ed Caldwell, our Scout Executive, because he wanted to share a quick message with us tonight to start the meeting off.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining tonight. Really appreciate your attendance and your enthusiasm about Camp Frontier. We're looking forward to having you visit us at camp. We really appreciate you selecting your troop as Camp Frontier and Pioneer Scout Reservation as your camp destination for 2022. It's going to be a great summer. We're looking forward to serving your scouts and you as leaders. Like I said, we really appreciate, and we're glad that you're in the discussion tonight and that you're going to be part of our summer operation this summer. One thing I wanted to talk to you about a little bit is from now until the time that you arrive at camp this summer and the preparation that it takes to help your scouts decide merit badges and various things that they're going to participate in. Know that our staff, Steve and Chuck and the entire team that you see on the Zoom tonight and the web presentation, they're available to help answer questions. If you've got any concerns or things that you want to change, reach out to the staff, Steve and Chuck and the others, and they'll be glad to help you. It's really important that you're prepared and you have everything that you need for your scouts and the leaders that are in your troop as you get ready to come to camp. Know one thing for sure, Erie Shores Council is greatly appreciative of your leadership and what you do for our young people in your troops and in our communities. You know, many times you'll have scouts that'll show up to camp. Maybe it's their first year, they're shy and hesitant. And in a short week period of time of going to merit badges and program areas, when you're getting ready to load up and head home, you see a little something different in those scouts. They're more confident, they're comfortable with their surroundings, and you've had a lot to do with that as the leaders of the troop, helping them break out of their shell maybe and hang out with the scouts in the troop and intermingle with the scouts that are from other troops while they're taking merit badges and program areas. Something like Root Beer Cantina can really build confidence in a young person too when they're around other scouts. So first and foremost, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for joining us this year. We look forward to the opportunity to serve you and make sure that that we're part of you when it comes to changing the self-reliance and the confidence in our young people. Those are our future leaders. You're part of that, and we really appreciate that. So, hey, we look forward to seeing you around the campfire. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. One thing that I want to throw up right before we move into our next step that I was going to do right before Ed's message, but I forgot, is I'd like to throw up one more poll right now just to get a feel for the audience. So this one, I'd like to know what your expectations are for this meeting tonight. What are you hoping to learn about the meeting? So is it COVID-19 stuff? Because we know that that's still a relevant topic in today's day and age. Is it about camp fees, merit badges, program offerings, maybe something on the website, or maybe not something on that list? I'll give you a few seconds to get your polls in here, and then we'll show those live so we can see what everyone's hoping to learn about tonight at the meeting. All right, looks like we've got a lot of people in here. I'll give it a couple more seconds to see if anybody wants to answer. Cool. And here we go. Looks like it's a mixed bag again. Looks like we're looking for a lot of different things here, and everyone seems to be spread pretty evenly. Well, I've got great news for you. We're going to cover every single thing on the list tonight. So if you're hoping to learn about anything there, we're going to be taking a look at that in detail and answering any questions you might have. So sit tight and let's get this thing started. All right, so what I would like to do at this point is I'd like to turn it over to Chuck Walker, our new Director of Support Services, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what's new at camp.
Thanks, Steve. As I get going here, please take a moment, if you can, to try to move forward to that first page in the Leader's Guide. I don't want to read every single thing that's new for 2022 because it's an extensive list, but I do want to highlight a few things, and they are on page 2. Probably first and foremost is a new handicraft center, and obviously there's something in parentheses there, pending no scheduling delays. We're working very hard to get the new handicrafts building center up and running for you this summer. It is really going to be an exciting facility. It's going to have a new training center as a component to that, a storm shelter. There's going to be dedicated merit badge space for a number of merit badges, a computer lab. There's going to be restrooms and showers. And so it's a really exciting building. And we are going to be really excited to be in there and for you to experience it this summer. Also wanted to touch on some camp stewards projects, and this camp stewardship program is just awesome. By purchasing a stewardship, you have a chance to direct 100% of those dollars to some projects at camp of your choosing. And so here's an example of some of those projects that the stewards have chosen that are going to be ready for you this summer. Things like a new leader changing area and some covered teaching areas at the pool, a new fishing dock on Lake McNichol, new boardwalk, materials, more program equipment for the handicraft center. Those are all just exciting programs that are made possible by our camp stewards, helping to fund that and direct that. Again, more exciting improvements in program equipment for you from the Root Beer Cantina. That's again, those dollars go towards directly supporting program equipment at Camp Frontier. Many other things are happening behind the scenes, in the ground, on the signs, all across camp. So we're excited for you to get here and experience those things. Wanted next to, if you could shift to page 4 in the leader's guide. One of the things that's going to happen tonight is you're going to generate a lot of questions. And so hopefully the questions that pop into your mind tonight and that you share with us, we can get answered. But I'm sure as you further prepare for camp, other questions are going to pop into your mind, and you're going to need some answers or want some answers. You might just want some help, a little bit more understanding how that's going to work. So page 4 in the leader's guide has our camp contacts. So the entire camp leadership team is on there. We have our phone numbers and our email, and and there's some quick links for some other places where it'll take you directly to the information in those quick links. But I would certainly encourage you, welcome you, ask you as those questions pop up. There's no silly question or bad question when it comes to helping you better prepare your scouts to have an awesome time here at camp. So anything we can do to solve a problem for you or relieve some kind of stress you may have, or just get a simple answer to a silly question, we want to do that. So please feel free to reach out to anybody on there. If it's not something that we're an expert in, we'll certainly follow up and make sure you get that answer in a timely fashion. You might notice on here that there's a couple positions like camp director and business manager that say vacant. And we would love at this point to have names in those spaces. And so that's maybe a good segue into my last topic that I'd like to cover tonight, which is staff recruitment. Places that you can go, and there's a QR code here to the camp website. There's a whole subsection for camp staff. And so underneath there, we have a job board. It lists most all of the positions that we have at camp. It lists what positions we're still looking for. There's a section that has position descriptions that describes, what a camp cook may be versus a commissary manager, etc. So there's position descriptions. There's lots of other information that deal with staff. There's probably most importantly an online staff application. And so one of the great needs that we have in today's environment is help in identifying great camp staff, dynamic superheroes to be on camp staff. I think anyone who's been around a summer camp program, or if you experienced a summer camp of any kind as a youth or as a scout or as an adult leader, you know that you can have great facilities, and that's certainly helpful in your camp experience. You can have a wonderful program that's been developed, and that's important. But probably the biggest thing, the most important thing, is the camp staff that's put together to work with your scouts and work with yourself. I can think back to when I was a scout, and there was a superhero guy by the name of Robbie Atkins, who was an aquatic staff guy. And really, the experience that I had with him for 1 week at camp drove me to want to be on camp staff. I liked it so much that I spent the next 6 summers in high school and college on camp staffs, and it led to a 24-year career so far with the Boy Scouts of America. So camp staff, folks, can be really important. And so my friends, my heroes, many of them are camp staff members, whether they're at a Boy Scout camp or some other kind of camp. But they very seldom just parachute into camp. So we need your help to identify some of these folks. they're almost always known to us or someone in scouting. And so what it takes is it takes someone who's influential in their life, like a scout leader, yourself, to intentionally suggest and push them, hey, I think this might be something good for you to experience. You know who these kids are, or you know who these youngly retired folks are, or you know who these people are that have summers off. Encourage, talk to those people, lead them to the information, and help us put together the best possible team for you, not only for this summer, but also into the future. And so we'll talk to you more about that once you get to camp. But anybody that you can think of that you think would be just one of those superheroes, or maybe they've got the potential to be a superhero, send them our way. Camp staff is one of the best learning environments that any young person or anyone will have to learn about responsibility, to learn about customer service, to learn about self-esteem and respect, and to do that in this kind of a crash course environment for 8.5 weeks at Camp Frontier this summer will be a life-changing event for them, and it will help be a life-changing event for your scouts. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Chuck. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move into kind of the nuts and bolts of the summer camping program. So everything registration and kind of procedure wise. So the first thing I'd like to talk about tonight is COVID-19 and summer camp. So we've been adjusting our program. We've adjusted it ever since 2020 when the pandemic started, and we're continuing to adjust the program up until this day. We're working closely with the health department, closely with the council health supervisors. And for right now, this is the plan that we have set up for summer camp. But if anybody knows anything about the COVID-19 pandemic, things change, and they change a lot. So if we do have any changes to the information that we give out tonight, we're going to communicate that via email and in our leaders guide. Anytime we do a change to our leaders guide, we're going to give you an email and say, hey, there's an updated copy. We're also going to show you tonight where you can find all those changes as well in a really quick, easy way without having to skim all the pages to figure out what's different. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about the COVID-19 plan as it stands right now. So as far as general procedures go, we're pretty similar as we were to last summer. Vaccinations are now readily available for anyone who is of age to attend camp. So we do recommend that people get vaccinated to attend camp, but it is not a requirement at all to attend camp. However, if you do end up getting vaccinated, if you could include your vaccine record with the rest of your vaccine record on your health form or just a copy of that, that would be awesome. That just helps us if we do have any positive COVID cases at camp to help with back tracing that with the health department and understanding who needs to quarantine and who doesn't. So that's really the only reason we'd like to have those. Other than that, people are welcome to attend. We're not going to be checking for cards or anything during check-in or anything like that. But if you do have vaccinations and can include that, that helps us only in the case of a positive outbreak at camp, which hopefully we don't have. We do have an update to the masks policy that was actually updated just recently today. No big updates to the way that the mask policy has been put on the page before that. We just updated that to include all indoor spaces because some spaces weren't included on that list originally, like the dining hall. So we have that now with a disclaimer: all indoor spaces, unvaccinated will need to have masks inside, and then vaccinated people recommended but not required. For the most part, those are the places we're going to be either recommending or requiring masks, or those indoor closed spaces. Outdoor spaces, open area programs, or out and about around camp, we're not requiring masks at all in any of those areas. But we do want to remind people about social distancing. So if you have the opportunity to put a little space between you and that person next to you, keep that in mind. Try and keep those distances out and still keep up that hygiene practice to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe at camp. Hand washing is also another big one. Hand washing is the most important tool that we can use in fighting COVID, because it gets on our hands and then we touch all these things around camp. So the more we wash our hands, the more we encourage the troop to wash the hands before eating, after eating, going to the bathroom, or touching any high touch surfaces. the more safe we can be at summer camp. So try and push that with your troop as well when you're out on the property. We do still have the same pre-screening form that we used last year. I don't believe there's any changes to that one from last year's form. And basically what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to take a look at that form and fill it out right before you leave your house or leave to go to the troop meeting place to drive to camp for your week at summer camp. It's going to ask you questions on whether you have symptoms or you've been exposed, and go through basically a little yes/no questionnaire. And if you answer yes to any of those, that you have been exposed or have any of those symptoms, it's going to ask you to stay at home. And we really would appreciate if you do that, because we're trying to keep everyone safe at camp, and we want to make sure that we're not bringing COVID into camp if you do have any of those symptoms. We'll ask that you fill this out and turn them all in one big stack when you come in for check-in, and we'll take those at the registration table. And again, anyone who does not pass the pre-screening must stay home. We want to keep everybody else at camp safe. Worst possible thing is coming to camp and then finding out that one person had symptoms and now they're sick, and everybody who is in the car and the troop or somebody all have to go home now because they were exposed. So we want to avoid situations like that and make sure everyone's checking before they come. Tenting is the same as last year as well. So troops can choose to have scouts to share tents or sleep individually. But if you do choose to have more than one scout in a tent, we ask that you try and sleep head to toe. So make sure that there's no face-to-face contact. So, go back and forth, head to toe, alternating as they go sleeping in the tent. And that'll give us a little extra space. This has been the recommendation from our health department and others in the council as to a good way for tenting procedures, and we're going to keep doing that. You are more than welcome to go above and beyond. So if you want to do one tent per person, that is fine. Keep in mind, though, if you do have a platform site, platform sites are limited to how many platforms are in each one. Most of the time they have 16 platforms, some a little bit more, some a little less. But if you do one person per tent, you may need to provide some additional tents or set up some additional of our tents without the platforms in order to accommodate everyone at camp. So just keep that in mind when you're planning for summer camp. Merit badge classes. So last year we were at a very much reduced capacity. We have been able to increase some of these classes to a larger capacity this year for the 2022 season. So we are anticipating not having as much of a rush on some of those high merit badges that get a lot of signups, because we have more spaces available now. So just keep that in mind, that we have adjusted that. So it'll be a little bit different from last year on that one. And then we do plan on still having program area tools, supplies, high touch surfaces, restrooms, things like that, sanitized off and around camp to make sure that those things are getting cleaned on a regular basis. So everybody who touches them isn't touching everybody else's germs. So we'll keep that going for our merit badge areas and our restrooms out of camp. Meal service. So last year we had proposed a in-site meal service for Plan A, and we went back to normal operations for the most part shortly after the summer started. We will be going back to normal Plan A operations this year, and we do anticipate being able to offer and return offerings like our salad bar and extra side things, which will be a difference from what was last year. I know that that was a big thing that we lost last year, and we're happy to try and bring that back this year. And that's assuming that everything stays the same and nothing changes with our health department. But for right now, that is our plan, and that is how we're going forward with our Plan A. We do ask that you do follow the mask guidelines. So if you're not vaccinated, we do ask that you have a mask inside the building when going through the food service line and when being inside the building at all. So Plan B and C, same program as always. Just a reminder, we'd like you to have masks and food service gloves when you're preparing the food in the site. We're not going to be supplying these this year, but we ask that troops try and bring these with them and have some food service gloves on hand if they're going to be cooking in the site, and have a mask just if they're preparing food. So that way you can stay clean. The same rule that our health department has for people preparing food when they're in our kitchen and are not vaccinated. So have those masks around for preparing food and gloves to wear for everyone. Dates and deadlines for camp. So for right here, I've got all the dates and all the extra, dates that come up with each week of summer camp. So that first column is going to give you your session date. So your week number and then your session date. And then we have a pre-camp leaders meeting mostly on, or I think they're on every Tuesday, 2 weeks before your time at camp. These are going to be held at the council office at the Jadell Center in Toledo, Ohio. So don't come out to PSR for that. You're going to want to go to the Jadell Center in Toledo to be a part of that meeting, and that's where we will take your final fees, collect any forms that you have. We'll also have early bird hats and pre-ordered t-shirts if you order those available at that evening meeting, and we can make any final changes to the merit badge registration at that time as well. If you're not able to make to those meetings in person, we do have the ability to work with our business office to get that other stuff taken care of, and we can do that on a case-by-case basis and take care of you as well. So if you're not able to make it, no problems. We'll make sure you get the info and also have an opportunity to be able to turn in things and make payments as well. Registration, so that's when your merit badge selection opens. So that's when you're able to start adding scouts and adding merit badges into the registration system. That opens on a different day for each week. Most of the time it's opening on a weekend unless it falls on a holiday weekend. And in that case, it's usually opening up that following Monday and or Tuesday. For example, on Memorial Day weekend, we're opening it up on that Tuesday. So that way you can enjoy that holiday weekend. The other holiday weekend we avoid is Mother's Day. But other than that, most of the time it's opening up around 4 p.m. on the weekend. And those dates and times will be communicated to you via email as a reminder as well as you get closer to the date. We do close the sessions down. So we close down registration 1 day before your pre-camp date. So your pre-camp meeting date. So make sure that you get all your registrations in before you come to the pre-camp meeting, because we're going to be closing that down so we can pull all the info. This table right here is on page 5 of the Leader's Guide if you need to reference this in the future. All right, camp fees. So here's the fee pricing. Fees are automatically put in based on your in or out of council status in the system. So your unit's set up in our system, and it's going to calculate your fees automatically. The way I like to talk about fees here at camp, and the way I like about talking about paying for camp, is pretend that you have to buy tickets. I think the website actually calls them spots, but tickets puts a good idea in your head. You're purchasing tickets for your youth and you're purchasing tickets for your adults. And the tickets for the adults, they're the same price no matter when you buy them. You could buy those today, you could buy those right up until right before your close down date online, and it's always going to be the same price based on your meal plan. The Scout ones do go up in price, and that happens on April 25th. So that is our early bird deadline. So anybody you want to get in at that $20 discounted rate, that early bird rate, that spot needs to be purchased, that ticket needs to be purchased by April 25th, end of day. You can purchase online. You can purchase using a form and mailing in a payment. You can also purchase in person at our Scout shop, at the council office. Online, we accept 2 forms of payment. We accept credit card, and we also accept e-check. Credit card is going to have a processing fee because we pay a lot for credit card processing. So it's going to have a 2.5% processing fee automatically added on to any transaction for summer camp. So if you want to avoid that processing fee, use e-check. All you need is a Troop checking account, and all the information to process an e-check can be found on a blank check. All we need is that account number and that routing number, and we can get it processed, and that'll do a direct bank transfer from your bank to our bank. So that's another way to pay online and still be able to not have to pay that 2.5% credit card processing fee. Going back to those tickets for camp, once you purchase those tickets, they are 100% yours. So we will adjust your numbers down. So if you say you're bringing 20 scouts and you only bring 10 and you only bought 10 tickets, we're not going to charge you for those other 10. But if you bought 20 tickets at the early bird rate thinking you got 20 scouts, you now own 20 tickets, no matter who comes and who doesn't. Those tickets can be given to any scout. You can sign anybody up for those spots. If somebody backs out and another person decides they want to go, you're still good. They're not tied to any names as of now. But keep in mind that once you purchase them, they're yours. So only purchase spots for people you know for sure are coming to camp, because you cannot get a refund on those other than through the refund application, which is only for medical or family emergencies. Another thing to keep in mind is we have a free leader discount. So you're going to automatically get 1 free leader, and it's automatically calculated online. And for every additional 10 spots that you purchase online, you're going to get an additional free leader spot. So if you bring 11, 12, 13 scouts to camp, you're getting a total of 2 free leaders. If you bring over 19, so you're bringing 20, now you have 3 free liters. You bring 30, 4 3 liters, and so on. So that's how that free liter discount works, and that automatically applies to your balance. If you already paid for your liters and then you do end up qualifying for an additional free one, it'll get credited to your account and it can get used up elsewhere on merit badge fees or whatever else you have summer camp wise. If it doesn't get used by the end of the summer camping week, we cut those back in a check at the end of the camping season to you, so the money gets back to you. So for that free liter discount, keep that in mind as well. I do see that we do have more questions coming in, and I will go through the Q&A probably once I get a moment, and I can answer any of those. So if you got a question about any of this, just sit tight, and I'd be happy to answer those in just a second. So adult leadership at camp. One thing that we want to talk about is some of the requirements as an adult leader. So that's any adult attending camp. So anyone who's attending camp, regardless of how long they're attending, must have current youth protection training, and they must also have a Michigan Central Registry clearance. You may say, Steve, I thought your camp was in Ohio, or I thought you were, based out of Ohio. Why Michigan? Well, half of our camp property is in Michigan. So this isn't something necessarily for our council, but it's more specific to our region and the property that we own. So because we do own property in Michigan and we serve scouting in Michigan on that property, we do need to have another background check through Michigan. This is something that we instituted last year, and it's a process that is free, but does take some time. There's 2 different ways that there's 2 main ways to do this. And the QR code on the screen right now will take you to that site with more information, but you can either request this via mail, actually 3 ways, mail or fax, or they have a new email way to do that was released midway through the summer last year. I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity to do this, to do it through the email one. People seem to get the fastest results through that one. The mail one can take a little bit of time, up to a couple weeks. The fax one, I think people have had some good luck with as well, but the email one seems to be the quickest turnaround time in 1 to 2 days. But it all depends, because each one of these is hand done through their office and then mailed back to you, and you get a letter saying that you have clearance. So what we would like you guys to do is do this early. Don't wait until the day before camp to do this, because you need to have it to attend camp. And this applies to anyone 21 years of age or older. So that Michigan Central Registry is just for the 21 plusers. I had a question. Does this need to be done every single year? If I did it last year, is it still good? It used to be. Last year, they changed the rule. So now this needs to be done on an annual basis, and you need to get this clearance done. It's a free process. If you've got people who are on the fence about going to summer camp, just have them do it. That way they have the letter. If they don't come to camp, worst case scenarios, they have the clearance anyway. So it's not going to hurt to do it. I recommend doing it now, so it's done and taken care of and over with. But we need to have that done within this calendar year, so that way we have that on file. It's going to ask for a couple options on some of the forms on whether you want it sent to the camp or you want it sent to yourself. Please don't send it to the camp. And we put that in our instructions as well. I know it sounds like an easy thing, but it just sends us a letter with a random name on it that has no other information, no troop number, no week number, nothing. And it's hard for us to place those and find that. So what we want you to do is we want you to collect all these for your troop and turn these in at your pre-camp leaders meeting or when you arrive at camp in one big stack. So we have them all together. So please, please, please request that it comes back to you, and then make a photocopy of it and give that to the person doing the registration for your troops. They have that. So that's for all leaders coming to camp. Leaders staying over 72 hours must be registered members of the Boy Scouts of America. So they can't just be volunteers without registration. In order to prove this, you can send us a copy of all their cards. You can print out your charter for the year and highlight the names of people coming to camp. We just need a document that shows current registration for anybody staying over 72 hours. All right, vehicle policy in camp. So we don't allow for personal vehicles back in the campsite. Farthest you can get back into camp is to our parking lot. But if you do need mobility assistance in camp, we've got a few options for you. If you go online and scan that QR code, or I'll show you where to find it on the website in a little bit, you can request to bring a bicycle, an electric wheelchair or scooter, and or a golf cart to camp. Or if you don't have the ability to bring any of those and you'd like to rent one of our golf carts, we have those available for $200 per week as a rental, but they are limited. We only have a few of them. But you'd put a request in online for these. and then we can get that sorted away for you. But keep in mind that there's no personal vehicles allowed on the site, and you can only bring a bicycle, an electric scooter, or a golf cart, no ATVs or larger utility vehicles like John Deere Gators or those UTVs will be allowed. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email and I can help you out with that. And the request can be made online, and we'll show you where in just a little bit. Dietary restrictions and food allergies. We went with a new dietary restrictions program last year, and we are still in the process of, polishing that and tweaking it for this year. But last year's policy is still online, and it's still going to be very similar to that one in terms of how it's going. The only thing I can see changing as we get closer to camp is we do have a list of foods that are available for request, and we're going to be reviewing that a little bit closer to camp with our suppliers to make sure that those lists are still available. If they are, they'll stay on the list. If they aren't, those may get swapped out for another available option. But we're still looking into that part, but the rest of the program still stands, and it's available for both Plan A and Plan B unit. And you can find that information on our website and find a way to submit for alternative choices there. We've got a great list of options for alternatives. They can request every single meal that's on our diet program. If none of those things work, we also can work out where you can bring your own food and provide storage for you for that as well. For 2023, so I know everyone's thinking about 2022 right now, but if you guys like summer camp and you want to come back in 2023, and there's a specific site that you want, or there's a specific week that you're always going for, keep in mind that we do open up for registration for the entire summer in early June. So those in the Adopt a Campsite program, which we have a couple, that's May 31st for you guys. And then our in-council unit, we're going to open June 7th, and out of council June 14th, a week later. So keep in mind that if you're looking to sign up for 2023, that is your first available opportunity to do that. Provisional campers. So last year we did not host provisional campers with the COVID pandemic. We are reopening our provisional camper program. So keep in mind that we have an opportunity for anybody who's looking to attend camp without their troop or without their parents or leaders. We have an option for you. You can stay at camp without your troop. Those who participate will be in the Plan A pricing, and it'll be priced based on your in or out of council status. And we have an online reservation form where you can go and reserve for this. I think I already have 2 provisionals in the system already. Once you go through this process, you'll get registered. We'll send you a link with a registration link for the parent that puts their name on the registration form. And that's the account that you'll be able to log into and use it when your session opens to schedule merit badges, make payments and all that. It'll be a personal account just for that parent to schedule for that week. If you're looking to do this, we have host troops that we're going to be looking for volunteers for in just a second. But if you also have another unit that you know of that you've already worked out that you'd like to stay with, all you need to do is email me after you put the registration in, and I can make sure that you get paired with that unit that you've already made the arrangement with, and we'll make sure we get you paired in that site. But if you don't have that opportunity, we do have host troops available every single week for both male and female scouts. We also offer a free SPL week, and this is very similar to our provisional program, but this is offering a week for an SPL of a troop to come out without their troop and come out to camp and just enjoy camp and take merit badges. We know that being an SPL, especially with some larger troops, can be a full-time job. And we want to give you the opportunity to help lead your troop at summer camp and take care of all the responsibilities that you have there and not have to worry about merit badges while your troop's there. So the way that this works is, as long as you don't take any merit badges while your troop's at camp, we will offer you 1 free week of camp any other week but your troops week, and you can come out and stay with a provisional host unit, and you won't have any charges at all for summer camp. It'll be a free week, and you'll eat in the dining hall or eat with Plan B with that unit, and we'll take care of everything. Now, there are only other fees that may be required with this one, would be merit badge fees. So if you take merit badges with extra fees, those would be additional fees you have to pay, but the registration for camp is entirely free for that second week. And then lastly, this is a great program, but we need some help from our troops to host people. So if you are a Plan A or Plan B unit and you're interested in hosting for provisionals and free SPLs your week of camp and having a couple extra scouts in your bunch, we would love to have you on our list. So if you do volunteer for this and we end up pairing at least one person with you, we will waive your site fee for the summer. So whatever site fee you paid, whether it's a $100 site fee or a $50 shared site fee or whatever, we will waive that, credit it back to your account if you do end up getting scouts. Now, we may not get ones every week, but if we do pair one with you, we'll waive the fee for you. And we need at least one male and one female host troop per week. If we get multiple ones, we will start assigning based on how the request came in. So the first troop will get assignments then. And then if we start filling up that first troop with a couple scouts, we'll move on to the next one. If you would like to do this, please just send me an email at campdirector@psrweb.org, and I can get you put on the roster. And then we will let you know as we have people sign up who you'll be hosting. We are bringing back the SPL weekend again this year. So we did not have this in 2020. And then we ended up doing a virtual one in 2022 or 2021. 2022, we are looking forward to coming back and having an in-person weekend of fun and training at camp. This is a weekend in April where it's open to 2 scouts from each troop. Normally we ask you to send the SPL and maybe the assistant patrol leader, and they get to come out to camp and meet all the other senior patrol leaders who are going to be at camp this summer, and they'll do some fun activities. They'll learn about summer camp so they can better lead their troop when they get here. If they're brand new to camp, never been here before, they'll get a chance to see everything before everybody else. And it's a free weekend. Food is provided, housing will be available, and it'll be in our staff hut. So they'll get to stay in our staff site, and the registration's up and going online on our website. Deadline for registrations, April 17th. It is limited to the first 100 scouts. So if you're interested, make sure that you sign up early and get registered for that free fun event. We have customized early bird hats. So one thing that I think I failed to mention for that early bird discount is any tickets that you purchase by the early bird date, both leader and scout. So the leader one, they don't go up in price, but if you purchase them by the early bird date, and then any scouts purchased by early bird date, those will be qualifying tickets for free early bird hats. So you'll get a free ball cap on how many tickets you bought, and you have the option to personalize those hats for an additional $5.50 with your troop number and your hometown on the back, stitched on the back of the hat. And you can purchase additional ones. So if you wanted a couple more for people that didn't have the early bird tickets, you can purchase those for additional $17.50. If you just want extra hats that you don't want to personalize, we'll always have those for sale in our trading post at camp. So you can buy those there and get additional hats during the summer if you'd like as well. There's an online order form. There's also an in-person order form on page K of the Leader's Guide. But the online one seems to be the best one to get everything in real easy and take care of it. And it receives online payment right there. We also have pre-sale t-shirts. So we have a t-shirt each year for summer camp that meets with the theme of the camp. And this one is going to be available either standard or personalized. And you can order the shirts with a regular just logo on the front, or you can get them same logo, but the sleeve will be personalized with your troop number and hometown. We're getting the graphics for those up and ready in the next couple weeks, and we'll be emailing that out so you can see what they look like. But there is a discount to the t-shirts regardless if you get personalized or non-personalized. So I believe it's a $2 discount off of the trading post price at camp. So if you know your troop's going to want shirt and you want to get an order around, you can get that in by April 25th, which is also that early bird deadline. Same with those hat orders, that's April 25th. And we will get those ready to go for you, and we'll have them at your pre-camp meeting. And keep in mind that whatever you purchase here will be a discounted rate. If you wait to get them in the trading post, that's fine. We'll have plenty in the trading post, but they'll be a regular price. They won't be at that discounted rate. All right. Before we move on, I want to make sure that I had a couple questions already come in that I was going to do in person. Can we pay at council early? And yes, you can pay at any time. You can pay in person at the council office. So if you want to drop stuff off anytime between now and when, you know, before your leaders meeting, pre-camp leaders meeting, you can do that. But do it before April 25th if you want the discount, the early bird discount. I had one other question that I saw before I started my presentation. It was about family night. We did not host a family night last year for the complexities that happened with family night and COVID-19 and having that many people, on camp. And we made the decision again this year to continue to not host a family night. So we will not be hosting a family night again this summer. So tell your families that, we appreciate all of their support, and we'll try and post as much as we can on our Facebook page and all other social media so they can get a chance to see some of the cool stuff that their scouts are doing at camp. We also have some videos and different things that you can purchase at camp that we show at the end of the week that you can take home to show your families after summer camp if you'd like. And there was another thing that was on my brain that I was going to talk about. Oh, yes. Last year, we did a little switcheroo with some of our schedule, and we had our Order of the Arrow call out on Friday night instead of our normal Wednesday night. We've decided that we're going to move that back to Wednesday night, but we're just not going to host family night on Wednesday. So we hopefully won't be sitting quite as long down at the amphitheater on Friday night, but we will still be doing a call out just on Wednesday night, and it'll be another great part of our program that we get to do midweek for everyone who's registered and at camp that day. All right, I'm going to start going through the questions and taking a look at those and trying to answer some via text. And then I'm going to turn some stuff over to Anna, and I'm going to have her talk a little bit about our program this year.
Hello, everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna von Fonestock. I am the program director again this summer, and I'm really excited to be back again with you all. If I could turn your attention to the Leaders Guide, there's been a little bit of reorganization. If you're not familiar, we have the Leaders Guide set up so you can see all the different areas of camp, what's offered in each area at what time, but also for each day of the week. So like Monday, if you want to know what activities happen on Monday, you can look there. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, please feel free to poke a question in. But yeah, that's pretty simple. And then moving into the merit badge offerings. So those are the next pages, the 22 to 24. You'll notice that, like I said, you can view it by area, or you can view it by day of the week, time. There's different ways you can look at it. So it should help you find what you're looking for. Things to keep in mind when you're looking at it, you'll see there's merit badge requirements. A couple of the prereqs have been updated. So please take a note to look into those, because if a scout's coming to camp, they'll have a much better experience if they have completed a prereq or are aware of the prereqs that they need to complete prior to coming to camp. And also there are some age requirements, certain merit badges and open area activities such as ATV is an older scout activity. So please keep those in mind when you go to register scouts. Yeah, and then like Steve mentioned earlier, some of the class sizes were changed, but we've since opened most of the classes up to be a little bit larger for this upcoming summer. Exciting things. A couple other updates for our outposts. We have our starting place, cycling, golf, wilderness survival, aviation, ATV, camping. On pages 26 and 27, it gives you a better highlight of what each of those outposts are and which day of the week that they take place. It's important to keep in mind which day of the week they take place, because a couple of them will interfere with other of their merit badges, such as golf. If you want to go on the golf outpost, it takes more than just one area class time. So you'll come back a little bit later. But just keep in mind which days of the week. And also we are always looking for adult leaders to come. So if you're knowledgeable about any of these outposts or are just excited to want to learn a little bit more, feel free to sign up for those as an adult leader during summer camp. And we'll have sign up sheets. I think we're relocating those to the new handicraft building, which we'll go over when you come to camp. Your site guide will give you a tour of camp, and they'll show you where those are at, where you guys can sign up for all of those outposts. A couple of them are signups required prior to coming to camp, because you do need permission slips. So just keep in mind, look through those pages for the specifics of each one of those. And if you have any questions, plop it in the chat.
All right, thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
then I think we are moving into a quick Arrow of Light info, and our expert on Arrow of Light is Miss Beth Young-Peter, and she actually has a poll, I think, for you tonight. So I'm going to throw that up.
Thank you, Steve. And so it is, what is your favorite pre-breakfast activity at Camp Frontier? Polar bear swim at the pool, bird hike around, led by ecology. Also, if you are not a morning person or just want to get some more sleep in before your busy day at camp, if you want to put sleeping also. So excited to see what you all pick for that.
Looks like we've got
And also
somebody
just-
coming in. Oh, you're
Yay!
fine. I was looking at it here, Beth, and I would like to say that while I'd like to be ambitious and say polar bear swim, a scout is honest, and I would probably be sleeping would be my
I do have to, and I do have to say, like, I guess after I did this, I started, I don't know if any of you guys are also Wordle fans, but I thought maybe that could be a fun pre-breakfast activity. We could meet at a picnic table and do some Wordle words for the day now that maybe if Wordle's still a thing at summer camp, but hopefully my streak will still be alive though.
Oh, I forgot to put
after-
Wordle on there. All right, I've got.
I know,
got
I
the
don't think I put it
result.
on there. I don't think I knew what Wordle was, but I popped that up though. So,
All right,
yes.
so here we go. I've got results for you, Beth.
Okay, looking forward to it. I do see that we have a lot of honest scouts, so sleeping looks like a big thing, and then some polar bear, and then also some bird hikes. Even the fun thing about bird hikes is even if you're not in the Bird Study Merit Badge, you're more than welcome to come and visit or participate in the bird hike. So just thought that'd be a little fun information thing before we talk about Arrow of Light Camp. And so there are 2 sessions. It's the last week of summer camp, so it's July 31st through August 3rd. And then we also have another session from August 3rd on Wednesday where you check in the afternoon and you come back and then you leave on August 6th. The prices are in there for in council and out of council and also for the leaders. It also, they do work on some adventures. I think there's like 3 to 5 adventures that they work on, but our main goal for Arrow of Light Residential Camp is for the Arrow of Lighters that are 5th graders or going into the 5th grade to kind of get like a taste of what it's like to be a scout for when they bridge over to the troop camp or when they're Scouts BSA for next summer. They do get experience campfires, whether it's an opening campfire or closing campfire. They get to do Root Beer Cantina. They can do the climbing tower. They eat in the dining hall. They also get to sleep in platform tents, or you can bring your own. Also with campsites, we try to register the packs or group the packs keep the packs together in the different campsites. So if your pack wants to register, make sure they either register for the same sessions, that way they can stay at the same campsite. And we also will have a site guide with you throughout your time at the Arrow of Light Camp, and they're going to be with you from morning to evening to walk you around to the different areas and also to kind of give the Arrow of Light Scouts some perspectives of what it's like to be what some stuff they do with their troop. But it's a really fun experience. It's a great thing if you have some Arrow of Light Scouts who have never been to PSR before. It's a great experience to give them a little taste of what it's like to be a PSR Scout. So, and I think registration is you can, for more information, and you can also use the nifty handy dandy QR code, and that's also to download the leader's guide as well. So, looking forward to you all coming out to camp this summer.
Awesome, thank you, Beth. I appreciate it. So I'm going to leave that link up for just a few more seconds if anybody wants to grab the QR code. And after that, I think I'm going to be moving in to a quick website tour. So what I wanted to do before we end the meeting tonight is I'd like to shift over to a web browser and show everyone the really awesome website that we have for Camp Frontier. and show you where to find all the stuff for summer camp. So forms, resources, things like that. Move on into there. And give me 1 second, and I'm going to get that pulled up. All right, so everyone should be able to see the web page. Thumbs up from anyone on the panel that can see it. Beth, thank you for reassuring me that I'm not talking about nothing. All right, so here we go. So welcome to psrweb.org. So this is our website for Camp Frontier. Got a lot of great things just on the main page as well. I added a summer camp countdown so we can get excited. It looks like we got 116 days and so many hours, minutes, and seconds left. So we get to our first week of summer camp. Some great stuff here on the front page. So if you're looking for that staff app and you want to apply, you could click here for that. We also have a newsletter, which is called Frontier Adventures. And that's a brand new newsletter that we started, I think last year, and it has great information about summer camp, year-round opportunities, and everything that's going on at camp. We also try and include summer camp updates in there. We will always email out summer camp updates, regardless if you're subscribed to this or not. But if you're interested in subscribing to our newsletter and seeing all about summer camp year-round, it's a great e-newsletter, and we encourage you to do so right there. I think everyone signed up for summer camp tonight, so that's not a button that we need to talk too much about, but if you still need to register, that's right here. And then another one that I wanted to show everyone was our promotional materials page. So this page right here is a new page that we put up probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And this is allowing you to have some resources if you're looking to have a join scout, or not join scouting, but a come to summer camp promotional night with your troop. And the best time to be doing that is right now. So when you have your troop meeting, host one of those nights. Everybody interested, come learn about camp, learn about what we have to offer. You have all these resources now from this meeting, and this is going to give you even more. So there's a link to our leaders guide here. We have promotional videos that are on our YouTube page that you can show for both our Arrow of Light program and our summer camp program. We offer visits out at camp too. If your troop wants to come out to camp anytime this spring and do tent camping, we will let you do that for free. We offer free tent camping for every Scouts PSA unit, regardless if you've been to camp before or not. You can't do it necessarily online. It's still going to try and charge you there, but just send me a quick email and I can waive the fee online for you and I can get you registered. And you can come out and do tent camping with us this spring. We also have awesome cabin camping and cool activities that we offer in the spring. You can rent out our shooting sports stuff, climbing tower, cope, and a lot of other great things. So if you want to come out and visit us, let us know. If you're interested in walking around camp, learning more about it, set up an appointment. We'd be happy to come out with your troop or just maybe you and talk a little bit about what we have to offer so you can get the camping experience and know what the camp looks like before you get out here with your whole troop. We also post a lot of great stuff on our Facebook page, so make sure that you follow us on Facebook because we're going to post a lot of cool stuff on there, happenings and what's going on with buildings, facilities, and programs at camp. Talked about the newsletter already. Here's a link for subscription there. Another thing that I put up is if you're looking to pass something out, you want a cool hat, patch, some sort of, tchotchke to pass out. We call those things swag, to get Scouts excited, and you're maybe a brand new unit to us who's never been to camp before, you can request these and we'll send those to you in the mail. So we always have a lot of leftover camp merchandise, mostly patches, but sometimes other stuff. And if you'd like to hand some stuff out at this night, you can request this online via mail, and we will mail you these items and you can have them ready to go so you can pass them out and get Scouts excited for camp and have something to take home. So that's available as well, no charge. So that's a great opportunity to look for promotional materials for your night. If we go back to the main page, you'll notice on our menu here, the Scouts PSA Summer Camp. This is where most of the information about summer camp is going to live. Arrow of Light Camp, same right here. Here's all your Arrow of Light Camp resources. And then anybody interested in camp staff stuff, that's all right here. But right here, first thing right here is our Leaders/Parents Guide. Here's where you're able to download the latest copy. The bottom of the Leaders Guide, every page is going to have the latest updated date. So it's going to be at the bottom there. And every time we do an update to the Leaders Guide, anytime we change anything and put a new copy up, we always list the changes and the dates the changes were made. right here with page numbers, so you know what changed. So today we actually just updated a few things. Most of it's some prereqs and a few other minor details, but you don't have to scour through every single piece of text to figure out what's changed between your copies. So always open the book, look at the bottom of any page to figure out the publishing date, and then figure out what changed. So if you have an older one that's not within the most current date, here's what changed from that one that's in your hand if you had a printed copy or something. But here's the link to download the latest copy at any time. Another thing on here is our fees and meal plans. So if you need a really quick reference to our fees, those are here. And the meal plans are discussed there as well. And then the other link that you're going to use a lot on the website is the summer camp forms and links. Here's going to be a page where you can download all those links or find the online forms for all those things that you might be looking for. Things that are on here. So if there's a page in the back of the leader's guide that you wanted to have just that page to print out, they're all right here. Those are ready to go. That Michigan Central Registry clearance. Here's the download for that with all the instructions. Provisional camper registration online form, where you can do that online, also here. Same with that free SPL weekend, right here. Hat personalization order form, online form, t-shirt form, we talked about that, also right here. Need to request a golf cart, bicycle, rent a golf cart, there's that form online here. Another opportunity for Erie Shores Council units, if you're looking for assistance for any of your youth coming to camp and they need to apply for a campership, here's a link to the Erie Shores Council campership program with information and that online application for that. Another thing that we have available is registration help videos. So if you click here, you can find a link to YouTube videos that I have recorded myself, walking you through every single part of the registration process for summer camp. So if you're looking to make a reservation or update your contact info, or maybe you'd like a little help looking at how it's going to look like when you register for merit badges, you can watch the video and see what your screen's going to look like. So that way, when you get into the registration process yourself, you're already acclimated, you know where those buttons are at, and you can find them easily and you're not caught off guard. So these are all great resources to use for that registration process. And they're all videos with me walking you through it online. I'm also looking into hosting an online training session sometime this spring before registration opens. So you can all hop on Zoom with me online. I'll walk you through the processes of a lot of stuff, and then we'll sit down and we'll answer questions that are in the chat and help anybody with any questions they might have. And that's another thing that we'll be putting a date out for hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Also on here, we've got some program forms and links. So if there's permission forms for like ATV, those are on here, and aviation. We also have a frontiersman program, and those forms are available on the website. Merit badge prereq sheets, we have them for some of our badges. Also, this one's going to be blank right now, but as we go through summer camp, you're able to pull reports in real time of what your scouts are doing at camp while you're at camp. But one thing that you're not able to pull is kind of like a class view of how they're doing in regards to the rest of the class, which is something that we were able to provide in the past with our old paper system. So we are able to pull a report that looks like that on our end, and we try and update that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays up here online. So you can download a copy of that while you're at camp and take a look at how your scouts are doing compared to the rest of the class with requirements and attendance and things like that. But you're also able to pull one just for your troop that shows what they've gotten done. But that's where those will live during summer camp. And then we also have our food allergy program here that we talked about with the food allergy program and then the request form. You can read through that. And then dining hall forms. So we also have the menus. These are 2021 menus right now. We don't see a whole lot of changes coming to Plan B. 2021 Plan A may change a bit. The reason that these are still 2021 menus is we're waiting a little bit closer to camp, maybe probably about, I would say 3 or 4 weeks, and we're going to have a meeting with our food supplier. COVID's done a lot of things to our food supply chain, and we have items that are now no longer available or discontinued that we used to be able to offer all the time. So we need to find alternatives. So in that respect, we're going to be having a meeting with them and trying to make sure that anything that's on the menu is going to be readily available any week at camp. So look for those. We'll email out when those are up online and updated. But for right now, the old ones are still up there to get an idea of what food service looks like at camp. We talked about the campership. We talked about promotionals and videos. Let's see, Arrow of Light Camp. We talked a little bit about that, but the online registration is right here. So here's where you can download the most recent leaders guide. You can download the informational flyer. Registration is going to open on March 1st, so that's coming around. So if you have anybody interested in that, that's there. Also want to talk a little bit about the camp staff. So Chuck was able to talk about our needs for camp staff and how to apply. We also have an online job board, and that's available right here. And you can see a full listing of all the openings and spots that are still open for the 2022 camping season. Try and update this on a weekly basis. Last updated on the 18th. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can also see some job descriptions for all of the positions that are still open. So that's a great thing to look at if you're looking, maybe curious and want to see what's still open. You can also click here for the online application and submit an online application so we can reach out to you and see if you're a good fit for our summer team. And then we also have some great recruitment resources. So maybe you don't want to work on camp staff, but you'd like to recruit at your summer camp or your troop meeting, or maybe another place, maybe where you work. And we have some general recruitment flyers that are available that you can print off, and also some specialized ones that you can download and hand out or send in an email that have all the basic info for camp. And I realize that nobody's required to send any of that stuff out, but if you're willing to help us recruit staff, we would surely appreciate it, and that would be awesome. So those are here, and you can take a look at those as well if you wanted to look at the recruitment flyers. Last thing we already talked about a little bit, but in the resources, we talked about that Frontier Adventures newsletter. I also have an archive of all the newsletters from past. So if you ever want to look at an old newsletter, you can do that in the archive, and that'll show you. My internet's a little slow right now for some reason, so we'll see if it loads. But it should show you a page where you can download all of those if you want them. Oh, there it goes. And you can click on any one of our editions and get a chance to see what went out. And lots of great information with links and events and things like that. So I think that's everything I had on my website tour. Going back to our presentation, we are wrapping things up for tonight, but I do want to go through the Q&A box. So if you do have those questions and you haven't submitted them yet, please start submitting them now. I'm going to start looking through the box. If you have in-depth questions that aren't easy answers, or you want to talk more about it, you can email me at campdirector@psrweb.org, or you can call us at 419-459-4962. And that's our main camp line. And you can leave us a voicemail or get a hold of me. I'm usually in the office Monday through Friday. So I'd be happy to talk with you and talk details if it's anything in depth or anything you want to talk about in more detail. But let me start looking at this Q&A box and see if we can get some of these questions knocked out. And I'm just going to answer them in person and start going from top to bottom. So the first one I have here is, they're doing Plan C food option. Is there refrigeration and freezer space available? Yes, we do have limited refrigeration and freezer space. If you would like to use that, we do have some rules on how it needs to be packaged. That's available on the food service page on our website, and also on the dining information page, which is page 12 of the Leader's Guide. And you can get all that info there, but it needs to be packaged and labeled, and you're not able to access it once it's been dropped off. We will deliver that when we deliver our Plan B food. So keep in mind that once it's put in our storage, the only people who have access to that is our food service staff, just for health and safety. Will we have Zoom for the pre-camp leader or for the pre-camp meetings weekly? So right now we have not hosted those via Zoom. They've been in person. We do usually work with people who aren't coming with our business office to try and make sure we get everyone caught up. The way that they're formatted, we do an in-person chat with everybody there. We also have opportunities to turn stuff in. So if we did a Zoom one, it would probably be a separate event, just because it's hard to be in person or answer questions and be able to be personable just talking in front of a large group of people on Zoom. But let me look into that and see if that's something that we might try and offer. We may also just try and record a brief video of the presentation because it's the same presentation every single week, and then we can put that up online. But any updates to that will come out in an email update, and I'll make a note of that one. Looks like some difficulty with online process of looking at requirements like blue cards, day-to-day update on how scouts are doing. Yes, so we will be putting up that form with all the classes on that webpage 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and updating that in the morning. There's also a way to pull a report at any given time, and we can show you how to do that. Either email me and I can give you the instructions on that, or if you want to check out that video resources page that I showed you on the website, there should be a video detailing how to access those records under looking at records, and that may help you out as well. ASPLs also attend. So I'm not sure what event this is referring to, but I'm guessing it's either pre-SPL week or the SPL weekend. So for SPL weekend, we're allowing 2 people from the troop. Don't really care who they are, but the idea is to send your SPL and your ASPL or another troop leadership. But you can do up to 2 people per unit, per troop to that event. For the free SPL week, that only applies to the 1 person who's serving as the SPL for your troop. So that's just offered to 1 person. Can scout and leaders bring bikes if they don't need them for mobility? Unfortunately, the answer to that is no. We do have a really large camp, and we have a lot of campers at camp, sometimes up to 500, 550 campers. So with that many bikes and things going around, things get a little dangerous around trails and roads. So the only way to bring a bike to camp is to request one for use for mobility assistance. However, we do have an excellent mountain biking program with quality mountain bikes that you can either sign up for and ride every day as a class, as an activity, or you can use during open area time. Right now we have about 30 bikes in the fleet, and they're all in great condition, and scouts have that opportunity either signing up before camp as a class or during open area when they get to camp. Can ASPLs also attend SPL week or weekend? We just talked about that one. Do we register all scouts together for merit badges, or they can register for their own badges? So you will have 1 username and 1 password for your account. So everyone who's registered for camp has an account, and it's your troop account. So that's the one you're going to use for registering for badges, and only 1 person can be logged into that account at the same time. So if you during registration, if you log more than 1 person in, you could have that happen, but what you're going to run into is every change you make is going to overwrite somebody else's changes, and you're going to be really sad and frustrated. So only have 1 person logged in at a time. That's the way it works. And we recommend that you try and get first and second choices from all your scouts. So that way, when you're putting registration in, it goes nice and smooth. It is a first come, first served system, but you are able to put in your roster ahead of time. So that way you're not typing in names and date of birth ahead of time. All the information detailing on how that works can be found in those instructional videos. And that'll be a great resource for you if you have any more questions. All right. If an SPL goes for their free week, does the adult leader need to attend with them? Nope, not at all. So they would be able to sign up for that, and we're going to pair them with one of our host troops for that week, and the leadership will be provided by that host troop. Merit badges, ages. Will camp accept those scouts who are almost the minimum age? So the way that this works is the date of birth is required when registering for youth for merit badges, and that's how it's going to calculate their age. The system is not, the system doesn't accommodate for anybody who's close. The way that it works is it goes by the age that they're at by the first day of camp. So if they are of age for that badge by the first day of camp, it will allow them to register. So, you know, if your registration opens and they're turning that age before the week of camp starts, it'll still let them do it. Now, that being said, we do close the systems down the day before your pre-camp leaders meeting, about 2 weeks before your time at camp. After the system is closed, if you have a scout who is very close to that age, who's still trying to get into a badge, please send an email to myself or our business office, and we will work with you to see if we can accommodate if there are spots still remaining in the badge. Most times we can find a spot that's still remaining, we can make the accommodation, and we can take care of it. but we will, for the online registration portion, it's currently only open to those who are of age by the first day. We do the exceptions after the system closes down. Text alerts. So the text alert company that we were using for summer camp recently went through a lot of mergers, and their fees have increased significantly, and it's no longer a viable option. We have looked into other free users such as Remind and things like that, but haven't found anything that allows us to offer hosting for really keeping weeks separate and people at camp and not at camp separate, and being able to easily register them onto a list and subscribe and unsubscribe quickly. We're still looking into trying to find alternatives, but we used to be able to purchase this like a per text, like buy as you go plan. Everything's now monthly and yearly subscriptions, and we only use it for 2 months out of the year. So it was not cost effective for us anymore. If we find something cost effective, we will let you know. But for right now, we're going to rely really heavily on our website, or I'm sorry, our email communications for that. And there's actually something I want to show everybody real quick, and that is on our website. Give me 1 second. Actually, let me pull open a new web browser real quick, because I want to show everyone how to update their contact info, because this is something that can be really beneficial for keeping in contact with camp, and it may not be in date as it should be. So give me 1 second to pull it up, because I do have to log in to see this one. All right. So everybody should be able to see my web browser again, and I'm logged in as an admin, so it'll look a little bit different, but for the most part, this is what your screen will look like, other than your summer camp week will be sitting right here. But what I want to draw your attention to that's the same for everybody when they're logged in their account is I want to take them to their manage profile. So when you go to manage profile, and this is just a dummy account I have set up, this unit doesn't actually exist, but when you go here, this is how we get in contact with you. So go into your account after the meeting, or if you don't know how to get into your account, let us know and we'll get you your login info, and we'll let you know who the primary is. But the primary person for the account is listed here, and if that has changed, update that for us. Also update the primary email, phone number, the mailing address. If you don't have a mailing address in there yet, put it in there. We might send you a postcard or something reminding you about summer camp or that kind of stuff. Another thing to keep in mind is the alternative contact. So the alternative contact would be another person who's allowed to get those emails. So it's not going to be the main person on your account, but it'll be another person who receives all email communications we send out. So those email addresses are the ones that we send that out to. So there's 2 places there, your main point of contact and your alternative. You also have an ability to add 2 more people per every single event. So if you're registered for an event, and I'm going to have to pick on somebody who's already registered for summer camp. Let me see what we got. I'm going to pick on Troop 2 because they're a great troop. But Troop 2 is already registered for summer camp, and if they go in to their main page, it's going to look like this. They'll click on summer camp. They can go to manage, and down here at the bottom, you can list 2 more primary event contacts and an alternative, and they're going to receive every single email that we send out that's summer camp related. So the ones on the main account are going to receive every email we send out no matter what the event is. These guys will receive all the summer camp ones, but everyone will receive all the summer camp ones as well. So you can get up to 4 people in your troop who can get email communication. So that's another area where you can list additional people if you want to do it that way. So just keep that in mind. And if you don't have that updated yet, please do it, because that's our main way that we get in contact with you. Also, if you're not getting our emails and you are there, check your spam folder, because sometimes they go there. Make sure we're listed as an approved contact. Is there a link for the physical forums? So yes, the BSA Health Forum is part of the Leaders Guide, and I believe that the link for that is available in the leaders guide and on that forms page. You can also just Google BSA Health Form, it comes right up. This year, we will not be reconsidering the family night option, but we will be reconsidering it after the summer has ended with feedback from the summer. So that'll be up for feedback there, but for right now, we're not planning on offering a family night for this year. Does Boyles have platform tents and their own head house? So Boyles is not a platform site. Boyles is what we would call a field site, but that one is more wooded. Every single camp sitting camp does have their own personal latrine. It has 2 ADA accessible restroom pit toilets, water, and a hand wash sink available, and they're covered with locking doors, and then also a urinal room with a locking door. Page D&E has for payments for mailed-in checks. Is that still acceptable if our treasurer prefers? Absolutely. If you do mail a check into us, you want to make sure that you're mailing it, or if you're bringing a check into the council office, you're bringing it in with that fee transmittal form, which is on page D&E of the leader's guide. That's just something that you're going to fill out to let us know what that money goes for. If you mail me a check for $5,000, I have no idea what that is supposed to pay for. So that form needs to get filled out so I know where to apply that money to. Will you update the camp map if new handicraft building opens for camp? Yes, check your leader's guide, it's already updated. And that one should be good to go. I'm not gonna probably take that map down even if we don't open the building, but our goal is to have that building open as long as all of our contractors are still on schedule for the summer. If an older Scout 17 needs Eagle required merit badges, will they get preference, especially like swimming? So we don't have preference for Eagle required other than the age requirement. So a lot of our Eagle required merit badges do have higher ages. Swimming, unfortunately, is not one of them, but it's also a merit badge that we offer many sessions of and a large class size. But some of those like citizenship in the community, citizenship in the world, personal management, those types, those have a 14-year age and older, which really limits the amount of Scouts that can take that at camp and allows for Eagles, or not Eagles, but for people looking towards Eagle or Eagle required merit badges to have more options there. So yeah, that's how those ones work. All right, and I think I've got all of the questions in the box answered. If for some reason you felt that the answer wasn't sufficient or you didn't get enough information, please don't hesitate to send an email or give us a call. We really want to get everyone on board for summer camp so they know what's going on. Most important thing to do though right now though is the next week or so, get that contact information updated if it hasn't been updated yet on your unit account, or if you don't know how to get into it, let us know so we can get you logged into that, so that way you have access to it for future, because we want to make sure that you're getting all of those email communications that we send out. We're always going to be sending out emails to remind you of upcoming dates, registration, all that stuff before that time, and we can send them out on a by the week too. So we'll give you specialized ones for your week of camp. So that's our main point of contact to get in touch with you. So make sure you got more than one person listed there, so you got many people in your troop getting those emails. I got a couple more coming in. Do you still want all the paperwork and physical forms mailed ahead of time? So if you don't attend our pre-camp leaders meeting, your pre-camp meeting for your week, and you aren't able to turn forms in, and you can mail those ahead of time, that is so much better than trying to bring them all to camp. We go through all your health forms and we check through those when we get them back to camp. So that way we can send you an email and say, hey, I'm still missing a part C on Billy's form. I'm still missing an entire form for Johnny, who's on your registration, but I don't see it. So that way you really know what you need to bring. And the only thing we're going to be cross-checking is the stuff we haven't seen yet. You can bring all your paperwork to camp when you arrive. We're just going to have to go through every single one of those day of. And if we find any missing paperwork, we'll have to get that taken care of on the day. So it's a lot easier if you can either get that to us at the pre-camp meeting or mail that to us ahead of time. That just makes things go that much quicker. And those going to the pre-camp leaders meeting, go visit the camp after that meeting. So the pre-camp leaders meeting is an evening meeting. So you probably wouldn't want to visit it that evening. But if you wanted to do something like that and set up a meeting where you wanted to come and just visit the camp to see what it was like, we can talk about accommodations for that, maybe find a place to pitch a tent for the night, and then you can join us for the day and we can show you what camp looks like. So that would be on a case-by-case basis. But please just reach out to me via email and I'd be happy to set something up for you. Signups for Outposts. Those Outpost signups are done at camp, and those are at the program porch. So we'll have a brand new area to sign up for Outposts, and it'll be on the program porch just outside of our brand new Handicrafts Training Center. And that's where you'll be able to sign up on a bulletin board for those. The only outposts that have signed up before would be the aviation program, which is also a merit badge. That'll get signed up online just like a normal merit badge would. I'm looking at the outposts right now just to make sure that that's still the case. But yes, that is the only one that's on those signups would be the aviation. All the rest are sign up at camp. Shotgun merit badge requires bring your state laws. So we have a copy of the Ohio and the Michigan state laws, but you're required to review those for shooting sports discipline merit badges, shotgun and rifle. So if you are not a resident of Michigan or Ohio, you would want to go and bring your local, or you want to bring your local state's laws on firearms. I would just Google that and find that information so you have that to participate in the class. But most of our scouts are from Ohio and Michigan, so we do have printed copies, but they are pretty large. If you wanted to bring those on a device to camp, that's fine too without printing them, but we do have the copies for the 2 states that we're in. Map and Leaders Guide is new. Cool. Yeah, Joe Lemble, we got it. All right. The one on the resource link in the map is not. Excellent information. I will make sure that that one gets updated. Thank you for proofing our webpage. That one I must have missed. All right. Will there be ice cream at camp? Yes, there'll be ice cream at camp. That is a great question. So our trading post is an awesome trading post. And I know last year we weren't offering a lot of those food service options. We were just offering prepackaged stuff. I think we're going to start offering food service again as long as we can get everything approved. But regardless, we'll have ice cream at camp. So last year we offered all of our ice cream novelties. So we had ice cream sandwiches, ice cream bars, nutty bars. People love the Snickers ice cream bars. Sometimes we have the Choco Tacos to give you guys a list. But we also hope to have our soft serve machine with flavor bursts back up and running, as well as our slushy machine back up and running and good to go. So we should be there. Last year, it looks like ice cream on the first day, but couldn't get the ice cream mix delivered. Yes, I know. One thing that happens with our food service supplier is, especially during COVID, they run out of everything. So we're hoping to be able to have ice cream during summer camp as long as we can get it through our food service supplier. But I know ice cream was hard to get. We think we got a delivery every 2 weeks last year rather than twice a week like we normally did. So non-platform tents. Okay, so yeah, so the difference between platform tents and non-platform sites. And if you don't know whether you're in one of those sites, feel free to send me an email and I can take a look for you. Platform sites are going to have the tents already in the campsite, ready to go. Most of them are going to have 16. There's a couple that have a couple more, a couple that have, I think Clark, I think has 14 instead of 16, and Cody has, I think 20 instead of 16, either 18 or 20. But regardless, each has 2 beds in it. The tent's already set up, and those are available for you to use. You can also request additional tents or additional equipment online, and we'll go over that kind of stuff a little bit later. And there's also some videos online showing you how that stuff works. That's in addition to the platform ones. You don't have to request those. They're already going to be there. You can set those up, but they're the BSA wall tents set up without a platform, so there's no floor. We do have cots available to request as well. We recommend you bring a ground tarp if you're going to use those without the floor, but you can request those as additional tents in a platform site or in any site that doesn't have platform tents. I think on something else, but now I'm trying to think. Those ones, we'll let you know how many if you have a question on that too. You are also more than welcome if you want to bring your own tents, you can. And most people in those non-platform sites choose to just bring troop tents, and they set those up because they prefer those ones. So yeah, either way works for us. And then will there be dark chocolate Kit Kats at camp? I will write it down as a request and see what we can do. But as long as we can get them, sure, we'll get some dark chocolate Kit Kats. All right. Is there a list somewhere of which sites are platform versus field? So when you signed up for camp, we did a site assignment for you, and in parentheses next to your campsite, it should list how many platforms there are. So if you log in online, click your summer camp registration, and you scroll down if you scroll down to the campsite listing, it should say your site name, and then it'll say in parentheses platforms, and then a number of how many. If there's nothing after it, there's no platforms. Yep, we just did that one. So it looks like somebody had arrived in camp and they had platform site tents already set up. They didn't request, or not platforms with tents set up, and then they ended up having to take them down. That's not the goal. Usually we want to make sure that those tents are down and out of the way if you didn't request them. So I apologize for that, and we definitely would not. That's not our common practice. But if you have questions or want to talk more about it, feel free to send me an email or give me a phone call, and I'd be happy to help you out there. And then does anybody, I think that's most of them. Let me get done with these, and then I'll give about 5 more minutes to see if anybody else has any other questions. And we will go on from there. If everyone has their questions answered, you can feel free. We're done, and I'll stick around for another 5-10 minutes and see if anybody has any other questions that may come up. All right. So when you made your reservation originally for camp, if you put your reservation in, you requested 3 different sites, and as long as the first request was available, we made that assignment. Everybody should have a campsite assigned to them. So if you go in online and you click on your registration and scroll down just a little bit, it'll say something like campsite, and it'll say what campsite you're in. So if you want to check to see and just have some confirmation there, you can do that online. All right. Missed the beginning where the video will be posted. So this is actually running live right now on our Facebook page. So it's available to watch there for anytime you want, and it'll stay up ready to go. And then we're also going to be recording tonight. We've been recording, and we will be posting that video sometime later this week on our YouTube channel and sending out a link through that email service that we have. All right. Got a couple more that I'm just typing out with messages that people are sending. Somebody said they missed the date for the SPL weekend. So that is actually, I can go back to that slide. So right here, April 22 through 24, adult leadership is not required for the weekend. So you can drop off and pick up. The Camp Frontier leadership team will be providing the leadership there, the staff will. What's the max capacity of the camp? Great question. So we cap each week at 550 scouts, but we don't have any of our weeks at full capacity at this point. I think our largest week right now is projected for right under 500. And that's with scouts. That doesn't include our leaders and staff. Usually we have anywhere from an additional 70 to 200 leaders, and then we have about 80 to 90 staff. Is there a way to upload your scout info? Unfortunately, there is not a way to mass upload the info in like a CSV. That's one thing that I would love to see as well. And it's been a high request that I've put out to the company that we use for registration. So I ask for it every single year as a feature, and hopefully they listen. All right. Don't see any more questions coming in. So if anybody has anything detailed, again, I'll go back to that last slide so you can get my email. Oops, I guess I went too far. But my email address, campdirector@psrweb.org. Here's a nice, what we didn't get to look at. Here's a nice view of all the guys on the meeting site too. Hopefully you'll get to see our shining faces out at camp. And again, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to email or call. With that, I think we're going to end our broadcast for tonight, and we look forward to seeing you out and around the campfire. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.